Alright guys, thanks for coming back to the channel. So today we got a Briggs and Stratton 8K generator. This is my neighbor's. He pulled it out for Hurricane Ian, and what do you know? It does not produce power. So let's get right into it and see what we got going on. I just noticed the circuit breaker was off, but believe me, that's not the problem. It's not that simple. Back in 2017 for Hurricane Irma. So, with that said, I think what we need to do is give this old girl the shocker and see if we can get her woke up. So we're going to take off these 4 screws here, and we're gonna get in there and see what it looks like. 7 mil. Okay, pull that out of the grommet. Now, what I mean by the shocker to your brushes. Okay, it's a quick test to eliminate all kinds of issues, such as the rotor being bad, the stator being bad. What I see a lot on these is the AVR go bad. So, but from this thing sitting for 5 years, it can lose its residual magnetism, okay, and it can no longer produce power. So what you gotta do is you gotta apply voltage into the rotor and wake it back up. So, you got a positive here, right? And then you got a negative. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off the brush leads here. This is from the AVR. This is what the AVR puts voltage in through the brushes, and then into the rotor, and then of course electricity is produced through the stator. And that's your negative, okay? So you want to get these up out of the way and not touching anything. Just kind of want to tuck them out of the way. Alright, so, and the way you can tell is most of these brush holders have a indicator on which one's negative and positive, and this has the positive right here on the front. Do not put the positive on yet. You have to start the generator first, and then we're just gonna touch it. Then we're gonna pay attention to the voltmeter and see if it is working. So we'll get all that hooked up. They're not touching. And guys, do not touch any metal. Okay, you're just going to tap it. Okay, you want to see if it comes back to life. If it was going to work, it would have already worked. But we're just going to hook everything up the way it was. Just going to make sure the brush is okay, and all we're going to do is we're going to disconnect. Remember, the white's positive. I'm going to disconnect it, and then we're just going to go off of this one here. We had 2 circuits to check. See, that's good there. We'll check this side. That's good there, so we know we're good. We know those are fine. Shiny and clean. This spot here. Yep, see, you get to another spot where it's glazed. Yep, maybe we're on to something here. Alright, I'm gonna finish cleaning this up. So this is a tight fit, so just get you some sandpaper, slip it in there, and then just turn the rotor with the 13 mil socket and, you know, clean the rings that way. I didn't know what the ohms value were, But luckily, I know our servicing dealer was able to locate the information on what the rotor is, and because I owned this last night, I was like, there's no way this thing's only 9 ohms. Usually the rotors are 40, 50, 60 ohms, but not this one. So there that is. We'll see what. So touching my leads together, there's no residual resistance in the meter. If there was, you'd have to subtract that from your number that will show up here. I get all these wires. All right, so we got this cleaned. Let's see here. Must not be on it. So the book calls anywhere in between 7.5 to 9.3. So that rotor is actually saying 8.5. So that rotor is actually in good health. All right. So we're good there. We know we're good. All right. And so the DPE winding, or the excitation circuit is 2.06 to 2.45. And it's wires 6 and 2, and these wires are actually labeled. So that's a 2 right there toward the C, and then there's a 0.6 right there, not 90, 6. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and ohm this out. Like I said, it should be around 2 to 2.5. It's honestly perfect. And now we're gonna test the power windings. I almost told the guy that this generator's no good because I never knew the rotors to have that low a value of ohms resistance. They're usually higher than that. So I'm just tightening these terminals up. I noticed there's a little loose. Okay, and I'm gonna hook this back on this board. And also, guys, if you get a generator that has been producing power, it is possible someone has already been in there messing around. So you want to verify that wires are in the correct place and oriented the correct way. So these will be facing out. If you see here, there's a little 2 here. So I know that's the terminal 2, and this is wire 2. That's where that goes. And the red is the 6. Hard to see, but so let's just do a quick test on this. This is what powers up the AVR here, which is just another set of windings in the stator. So on this stator, there's 4 windings. This is the power up the AVR. This is the excitation field, which creates the voltage, which comes out and goes to the brushes. And then you have your 2 power windings. So that's 4 total you should have in that stator. Yeah, see, so the power windings, let me see here, so this one, I'm not sure what this is because it's not telling me in the manual. I'll have to do a little bit digging what this is supposed to be. Damn it. Doesn't want to stay in there. So this is similar to the DPE windings. Round 2. Okay. That's probably fine. I'm going to do a little bit digging into that one. Okay. So we're going to do this gray and black wire. We're going to do the gray and black wire first. That's one winding. Again, the book, let me see here. The book one's 0.2 to 0.26. Okay. Go back to, now we're going to go off the blue and red wires. And just like the other one, it drops off. So it does tell me it's in. Let's see here. For some reason, this meter does not want to register the decimal. Let me just go up one just to see. Go to the highest setting, because I'm at the lowest setting. I guess it does. I should be zeroed. I mean, there can't be zero resistance. I mean, I got continuity. I just think this meter, once it gets low, that low of a reading, it doesn't do a goddamn thing. Excuse the language. Alright, so anyway, so what I'm going to do, just for the visual, so what I'm going to do is we're going to go to each lead, we're going to go to ground. So I'm just going to plug that in there, and I'm going to hit the ground wire here. Alright, so we know I got the lead on there, right? I'm going to go through and touch each one. These is red in the front. My ground still grounded. Okay, so we're good there. We're just going to do an ohms reading through the brush holder into the rotor. And you can see we're still 8.9. That tells me two things. The brush holder's good, and the brushes, and then it's going through the rotor fine. Start the generator and then touch that on the positive, see if it'll excite the field there. This is out of the way. Make sure you got the red on the positive. Remember how I showed you to do that. Alright, let's run this sucker. So let's get all this shit off here and hook everything back in the way it needs to be. Go from there. If it doesn't work, then we know the AVR is bad. Got this on. We got the breaker off. We're gonna start this. See what we got. Well, it appears to be this is your problem. Well, we're gonna call it. We're gonna get one of those and go from there. Alright, so here we are. About a week later, a part came in for our Briggs and Stratton generator. This is the APR, or automatic voltage regulator, in other words. Thank you. Alright, let's see what we got there. There's your part number. 205858GS. Voltage regulator, they call it. Alright, so let's see here. So far, everything's looking the same. Now, these leads here are different color than the original. I'm guessing the red is the positive, and then the black is the negative, because this goes to the brush assembly, and then we got our excitation field, and then you got your sensing field. So, looking at it, looks similar. This one does not have a potentiometer built in where you can adjust, like with a small screwdriver, where you can adjust the voltage up and down. Let's swap these wires over. Wire number 2. We'll look at our thing here just to be sure. So wire number 2, okay, and it's going to be the one closest to the brush leads. No, I'm sorry. The one farthest from the leads, which it is. Okay. Alright, so we got wire 2. 22 sits on the edge here, which it is. On 22. Alright, let's get just put this in here, see how the wiring's gonna fall. If I want to come over top of the bearing like that, yeah, I'm gonna have to. Alright, so I'm gonna come through there, in between those two. Let me see, you don't want to come in like this. Yeah, we want to come in like this. Okay. All right, so let's get this thing fired up and see what happens. Alright, so it's putting out now, but for some reason, receptacles. I can see here all these breakers are busted off. So that's a good thing. We got that straightened out. So we're have to get in here, see what's going on. All right, guys. So I did remove these screws with an impact. I suggest not doing that, putting it back together. There's not a lot of meat on the threads, so you know it could be easily stripped out. So just keep that in mind. Before I fix the main problem why it's here. Let's just do a continuity test on these breakers back here. So with them pushed in, which they are, we should hear a beep. Ouch, fucker. Yep, so the breakers are good. Let's just pull this out. Yeah, so the breakers are working. I'll watch I push this in. Oh, made me a liar. Pull that out, stops. Push it in. Alright, so we're good there. All that busted off the where it mounts. It's technically okay. Me, I'd want to fix it. I wouldn't want these just flopping around in a generator, but this gentleman just wants to get this thing producing power. Okay, and that one's also working. Take the main breaker on, I see sparks. So I'm gonna have to pull up a wiring diagram, make sure all this is correct. And if it is, then I would assume this breaker is bad. But you know, it's what it is. You have to fix one thing and find another. So if you guys notice, the last clip, this thick blue one and this thick gray one were on the same breaker, and then these two, the small gray one and this one was on the same breaker. That's not good. That's why our main breaker was tripping. It was pretty much sensing a dead short. So that's not good. But anyways, I corrected that. Let's get back on there. And also, I want to apologize for the audio, how it comes in and out.
For some reason, you know, this GoPro likes to switch between the front and back mic consistently. Just one of those things I got to put up with, so sorry about that.
I want to check the gray and black wire. Alright, see what we got. Alright, moment of truth. Okay, we've got the breaker off. That's good. Attention, like I said, what I noticed, the screws were missing. We're missing here and here. You know, that was a perfect indicator that someone was in here trying to do a repair. They switched the wires on the circuit breakers there, and that's not good. And like I said, whenever I hit that the main breaker initially, and I heard that thing go on a load, that means it's shorted somewhere, and that's exactly what it was doing. It was shorting out, and honestly, we're lucky we didn't fry the new part. So there must have been some type of safety circuit inside that board to keep it from frying, but what we got straightened out. I'm gonna put 2 screws in for this guy. I think I'm gonna lock tight them in so it can't be messed with anymore.
While I screw this panel back on, I just want to say thanks for sticking around, like always, and I'll see you in the next one.